New creators usually launch their channels with a strict checklist. They buy a crisp lens, research thumbnail psychology, and study algorithm hacks, expecting that if they just check the right boxes, a massive audience will immediately show up. But the data paints a very different picture. Within a few months, the vast majority of these highly motivated creators quietly disappear, abandoning their channels entirely. This exit rarely happens in a dramatic moment of frustration. Instead, it happens through a slow fade-out. You push a Friday upload to Sunday, then to next week. Then the schedule just dissolves. These creators do not lack talent, and they do not have the wrong gear. They simply hit an invisible psychological wall. That wall is the silent stretch. It is the inevitable phase where you spend 20 hours writing, filming, and editing a video, only to watch it sit at a dozen views for a week with zero feedback. In a total vacuum of metrics, your brain does a harsh calculation. It weighs the massive effort against the total lack of reward and logically concludes that continuing is pointless. This diagram illustrates the panic that sets in next. To escape the silence, creators start chasing butterflies. A crypto video goes viral, so they make a crypto video. A baking channel blows up, so the next upload is a cooking vlog. The channel's focus spikes out in completely different directions, but this erratic pivoting collapses the channel's identity before it even forms. It confuses viewers who subscribed for one topic, and it completely scrambles the platform's ability to categorize your content. To survive the lack of views, human instinct tells us to try everything, and that exact instinct guarantees the channel will die. YouTube does not operate like a viral lottery. It functions as an expectation engine. It heavily favors channels that offer absolute structural clarity. Imagine walking down the street for dinner and seeing a restaurant advertising sushi, pizza, and haircuts. You would walk right past it. The offer is too chaotic, and you assume the food is terrible because they are trying to do everything at once. Now look at the shop next door. It has one clean sign: fresh homemade sourdough. They do exactly one thing. Because the expectation is clear, people gladly stand in line. Your channel's niche works the exact same way. Audiences do not come back because your camera is expensive or your edits are fast. They return because they trust your direction and know exactly what value they will get when they click. Defining a rigid, predictable niche is the only reliable method for building that initial audience trust. This flowchart maps how YouTube tests an upload by pushing it to existing subscribers. If you change topics, those subscribers ignore the video, triggering a heavy negative signal. The algorithm calculates that your core audience hates it, permanently blocking it from a wider audience. When you establish a defined niche, your uploads naturally align with this strict matchmaking architecture. Your audience clicks, the positive loop completes, and the system expands your reach. By attempting to please everyone with random topics, you break the feedback loop. Mathematically, you please no one. Committing to a specific niche triggers a major psychological shift. You stop looking for a random viral spike, and you dedicate your energy to mastering one specific promise. With that clarity, a 12-view week stops feeling like a mathematical failure. Instead, it becomes a necessary foundational brick in a much longer build. You begin to realize that a small view count is not an empty void. Those 12 views are 12 real human beings who sat down and decided to listen to your voice. To cross the silent stretch, you need to define your compass. Decide exactly what you want this channel to become, entirely independent of what happens to be trending today. When your effort is aligned with that compass, consistency stops feeling forced. You are no longer fighting the platform or guessing what to make next. The most successful creators don't survive the early days by hacking the algorithm. They survive by outlasting their own expectations.